A survivor of Jeffrey Epstein, who actually voted for President Donald Trump in 2024, is now calling him out. It's Jena-Lisa Jones, who was just 14 years old when she was abused by the predator financier, recently spoke to Lawrence O'Donnell on The Last Word. Now, this is after she had gathered in front of the Capitol on Wednesday with other survivors. That was, by the way, nearly disrupted by a planned flyover. That's right. This administration had a planned flyover to try to disrupt this entire thing. I mean, if that doesn't say something, that doesn't say, ooh, I don't want you talking about this stuff, I don't know what does. All right. So that, I mean, right there, great example of how he's trying to run away from the Epstein stuff. Now, afterwards, when his flyover didn't work, he lashed out at the Epstein files and the people that are trying to raise awareness of them, and called it a Democrat hoax that never ends. It never ends. Well, I mean, you could end it today by having the DOJ release all the files unredacted. I'm just saying that you could end this today. You have the power. Oh, but you don't do it. Of course. But anyway, I want to show you a video here of Jones responding to Trump's assertion that this is just nothing more than a Democrat hoax.
I voted for him. I voted for Trump. And for him to say what he's saying is beyond me, because I put my hope in him and he's supposed to protect us. And for him to say that this is a joke and that it's sides, this is not sides. We will say it time and time again. None of us are up there accusing him of anything. There is no one that is accusing him of any wrongdoing. So for the fact that he is saying those things and saying it's a hoax, who are you hiding for then? Because if it's not you, then who is it? And that scares me. Who is it?
That's a fair question. Look, here's the thing. She is a survivor, and I absolutely respect her, okay, for that. I don't believe in blaming the victim. I'm not doing that. But I gotta say, voting for a man who has been credibly accused of sexual assault by over 20 women and has declared that when you're a star, you can, quote, grab him by the pussy and get away with it, I think right there, that should have been a clue that this man is not and never will be on your side. I get it. Now, look, I can understand the frustration felt by other victims that the Democrats didn't really address this either. They didn't really make this a big issue, okay? Now, I'm not saying that none of the Democrats has been like, we should release the Epstein files under Biden. There actually were some. And not only that, but you had, under Biden, Thomas Massie saying the same thing. Hey, we should release those files. And certainly there have been people like myself and other people who do commentary talking about, hey, for years, hey, I'd like to know if there's a client list and what kind of powerful people are on that. Talking about that for years. Okay. But anyway, here's the thing. I think one of the reasons that the Democratic leadership did not make this a big issue when they were in power is because Washington's a boys' club. Let's be honest. And I'm almost certain that there are wealthy donors, wealthy funders that have, of course, abused girls. Okay. That said, she's going to address why no one's been really, in the government, no one really has done much about this. And again, she's going to address why she thinks that's the case.
The government has been protecting Jeffrey Epstein from the beginning. We can go back as far as He had people calling him out in the 90s. We can call it out when his case brought up in Palm Beach and he got prosecuted. They brought it up to a federal level. Alex Acosta decided that he would bring it back down to a state level and only charge him for 2 women. I can sit here and wholeheartedly tell you they never fully investigated that case at that time. They never truly went into how deep the spiral of twists and turns of who was connected and how they were connected. And even if they weren't involved, they knew it was going on or had been asked by friend members to participate in that and chose not to. And thank God they didn't.
So Alex Acosta, and she mentions him, right? That is a man that was appointed by Donald Trump to be his, I believe, labor secretary. And Trump himself had been one of Epstein's close friends. Epstein would literally brag about how close he was to Donald Trump. And so it still boggles my mind that any survivor of sexual assault could look to Donald Trump and say, oh, yeah, no, that guy's on my side. Are you sure? Are you sure? Look, and here's the thing. I think that's a failure of the system. Okay? It is a failure of our society to believe survivors. So, I mean, I don't know what else I can say to that. Now, O'Donnell then asked her if she had any message for President Trump. Here's that.
You have daughters. You know what it is like to raise children and to be a parent. Outside of all this hoopla that you're the president or you're Donald J. Trump and you have your Trump stuff, you know what it is to be a parent. You know that. Could you imagine if that was your daughter that was trafficked to people? Could you imagine your 14-year-old daughter having to go through what we had to go through? And then you sit here and say what you said? You should be supporting us. You should be backing us. And if you have any doubt of your mind, our lawyers are ready to speak. We have spoken to FBI. We have just spoken to every law enforcement agency that we could possibly have been asked to speak to. We have been traced down to corroborate our stories. This is not a joke. We spoke our truth and you were telling us pretty much that we're lying. I put my hope in you when I voted for you for our country, and you can't even back us when we need you the most. And we need to heal. We're not healing.
Okay, so look, some people, you're probably going to get mad at me for saying this, right? But I am almost certain that Trump has imagined his daughter going through something like this and probably liked the idea. I'm just saying, all right? Remember, he said, oh, if she wasn't my daughter, I'd be dating her. Who says that about their kids? Who says that about your kids? That's weird. And so, I don't know. Not to mention all the other weird stuff that he has said about her body on the Howard Stern show. And there's the tapes. You could go back all the way through it. All the way through it. Okay? And so, yeah, I don't exactly think it's going to be an effective message, even though I like the message. It's just that the audience there is not going to listen. He is not going to listen to you. Okay? He does not give a single crap about any of the victims. Okay? Let me put this really simple. Donald Trump, if you voted for him, he used you. Okay? He used you as a talking point against Democrats because of QAnon, right? Understand that Donald Trump latches on to certain things that are popular, and then claims to have always been in favor of those things until he gets what he wants. What Trump wanted this time was power, and to avoid any of the consequences for the way that he has lived his life and the crimes that he has committed. Now he has that power, and he ain't going to let it go. And that's one problem, okay? And in addition to that, he is certainly not going to honor any of the promises that he has made because he never meant any of it. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. Look, at the end of the day, these women went through something that no one ever should. And I don't know why, but they put their trust in the one person who never, ever had their back and never will. And maybe that's because we failed. Like, we as a society, we failed them. People on the left, we failed them. And it caused them to turn to a con man. I don't know. I don't know. But despite all of that, they still deserve justice. All the victims do. They deserve transparency, and they deserve the truth. And that is why we need to continue to call on them to release the files. Release the Epstein files unedited. Release them, all of them, now. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.